Okay, this is a video that shows the creation of a counterparty wallet using the free wallet desktop app. So after you've installed the application on your OS and you open it, you're going to be presented with this screen. You have the ability to log into an existing wallet, so you could do that with your 12-word passphrase if you had created it on a different wallet server. Or you can do what we're going to do is we're going to create a new wallet. So I'm going to click on Create New Wallet. What you're presented with is a 12-word passphrase. What you want to do is make sure that you store this in a secure place. You don't want to put it online, and you want to make sure that no one has access to this, because if they do, they have access to your tokens and can access your account. You also need to remember this just so that you can access this account. So the format, you just leave it as counter wallet. I'm going to agree that I've written it down, even though I've just copied and pasted it. Then I'm going to say OK. As soon as I've done that, I now have my counterparty wallet created. You can go up here, you can see I have a balance of 0 BTC. If I go up to the address here in the QR codes, I can say that I want to view address. That shows me the address that I'm currently working on, which is 14JE. What I would want to do is I would want to copy this. I'm going to need to send in some Bitcoin to start this process. So what I would do is I would go to one of my on-ramps, whether it's Coinbase or another exchange, and I would either buy some Bitcoin or trade for some Bitcoin. And then I would send that Bitcoin to this address. So I can copy this from here and I would go off to that exchange and I would send in Bitcoin. I'll end the video here. In the next video, you'll see after the transaction has been confirmed, you'll see that there's a balance here. For this demo, I'm going to consider that I've opened my free wallet app. This time I'm going to say I want to log into an existing wallet because I've already created my account. So I'm going to paste in my 12-word passphrase. I'm going to say OK. As your wallet has been updated to use the passphrase entered. What you're going to see here is slightly different, as I've jumped ahead for the demo just because there's a lot of time issues, but basically I have a BTC balance. In this case, I have $60. I have an XCP balance, which we're going to go through now, and you can see that I have a token that I've created. The step that we're going to do right now is we want to have more XCP. So in your wallet, you're not going to have any XCP, but we want to buy some. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to robotlovecoffee.io. So when you open this website, you'll see that there's a verified XCP dispenser list. You click on that. That will load a list of XCP dispensers. This list is curated by Nifty Boss. There's his Telegram. And he does some qualifications to verify that these are safe dispensers to use. Not all XCP dispensers are safe. So this is a list of safe dispensers. What you do is you click on one, it shows what the cost is and the amount at the time of posting. We'll click on that link. Dispensers work like vending machines. So in this case here, if you send in to this address this much Bitcoin, you will receive 1 XCP. You can look and see that this is giving out 1 XCP. That's what the asset is. It had 205 to start, and it only has 33 left to give. So what I would do if I wanted to get XCP from this dispenser is I would want to select this address. I'd go back to free wallet. I would right click on my BTC and I'd say I want to send BTC to. I'd put in that from address, or sorry, that to address of the 13E. Then go back. I'll say that I want to send in this amount of BTC. Put that in there and you can see that it's basically $10, 10.17. And that's it. I can leave the transaction fee at the same. It's at a high. I could lower that, but I'm going to say, okay, I want to send these funds away. It's going to say, do you want to send that? I'm going to say confirm and say yes. And that's it. It has broadcasted that transaction, and it will take a bit of time for that to propagate, but once it does, we will see this XCP amount go from 0.5. It'll go up to 1.5. So I'll stop the video right now and I'll just start it again once that transaction has been completed. Okay, as you can see, that transaction has confirmed. We were able to send in Bitcoin to the dispenser and it's sent back 1 XCP. We're now going to create a token with Free Wallet. What you do is you go up to the hamburger menu, you click on that and you have a bunch of options. You select that you want to create a token. You're going to leave it at name token, but there are sub-assets in numeric, but we want to do named. You can see that there's a 0.05 XCP fee. For token name, we want to use one that has not been selected before, and you have a limitation on what you can use as far as length, and it needs to be in uppercase. The UI will make this into uppercase. So in this case here, I'm going to do a robot test 1. I want to set the quantity to be, or the divisible to be no. I want to set the quantity, in this case I'm just going to set it to 1, but you could set that to a number if you knew how many you wanted to issue, if you wanted it to be 69 or 100. For this step, I'm just going to leave token description blank. And again, I'm going to leave the fee at the same, but you could change the priority and spend more money to have it to be faster on the blockchain. But at this point here, I've basically selected name. I've given it my token name. That's what your rare Pepe card would be called, your token, and then I'm going to say create token. It says, do you want to issue this with this initial supply of 1? And I'm going to say yes. And it has broadcasted that transaction and sent that. So I'll say okay. Okay, for this step of the video, we want to upload the media assets associated with the NFT that you want to mint on XCP or Counterparty. So you want to go to easyasset.net. This makes this process very simple. It does give you some simple directions on what you should do. So we'll just start. So which network is your NFT on? So we're on Counterparty, we leave that to the default. And then enter the asset name. So in this case here, I want it to be the same as the same name as what we used for the token. I'm going to say robot test 1. I'm going to do robot test 1. The artist name, I'm going to do Robot Love Coffee. I'm not going to bother with a website. I have Robot Love Coffee for my Twitter. For this, I'm just going to say it's art and it's an NFT. And for the description, I'm just going to put this as a test. Scroll down. You can have that appear after. I just leave that default. You can put a separate image for the thumbnail, 48 by 48 static ping. In this case here, I'm just using the same image that we have, which is a screen grab. You then want to put an animated or static image that's required. So I'm going to do, that's what our NFT is. It's just this one big image I created. And then if this is a video, GIF, you would upload the video. You have the option of uploading a high res if you wanted to or not. And you also have the ability to upload an audio if it was an audio asset. You do want to make sure that you look at the specs for fake rares or danks if you're uploading assets for that. So this one here isn't in the format, but you'd want to make sure that your image or video fall within the specifications for the image that you want to do or the asset that you're going to do. And that's it. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, I want to create the asset JSON. The process can take up to 30 seconds or so, so you only want to click the button once. So I'll click on the button. And at times this can take 30 seconds, sometimes it can take a minute. It is uploading this to the Arweave blockchain. So I'm just going to hang out and see whether whether we can do it in real time. If it's going to take a little bit too long, then what I'll do is I'll just edit the video and I'll just come back once it's completed. But we'll give it a couple of seconds just to see if it'll come through. Okay, so we'll just do an edit and we'll come back once it's done. Okay, so the Easy Asset has finished. You can see that you're greeted with a confirmation page. There's two URLs that you're given. The first one you can use in Free Wallet or Counter Wallet. The second one, which is the Arweave one, it's the most secure way to store the asset because it's not going to have any reliance on Easy Asset, but it doesn't currently work in Free Wallet. So we're going to select the first one, which is Easy Asset. We're going to copy and we're going to paste that into a text editor because we're going to want to use it in our next step. But if I scroll down, you actually see that it also has individual item URLs if you want to go to the thumbnail or the main image. It talks about where you would use it, which I'll be doing shortly for in Free Wallet and Counter Wallet. And if you do use this site often, I would look to donate, buy some of the Easy Asset to help pay for some of the Arweave cost. They're updating the site to be more user-friendly and have more functionality, so worthwhile to donate to them. But the next step that we're going to go from here is we're going to go back to Free Wallet and update the description. Okay, it's taken about, not sure, to be honest, about 20 minutes for that robot test 1 to get confirmed. You now can see that inside my list I have BTC, I have XCP, I have robot test, which is one I created before, and I have robot test 1, which is the one I've done during these videos. So what we want to do now is we want to update the description to use the Easy Asset URL. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click here and I'm going to say change robot test 1 description. I'm going to go to my clipboard. I'm going to select the URL, which is the Easy Asset URL, and then here it says that this is the token name. This is the updated description. And again, you have to pay a fee for each time that you do this. So this is easyasset.art, robottest1.json. I'm going to say change description. It's going to say, do you want to do this? I'm going to say yes. It's going to broadcast that onto the network. And again, in this step, we just have to wait. It's going to take a little bit of time. I'll clip the video now and I'll come back once this has been completed. I'm just going to use the robot test as the updated description. Basically, the robot test 1 transaction, I look at the history of this, it's been taking over an hour. The Bitcoin blockchains, like any blockchain, has been getting hammered a bit. So if I come here and I look at XChain, if I click on the transaction hash, it's showing that it's doing 16 blocks is the ETA. It was at 13 blocks. And I know this is getting technical and you don't really need to know about it, but if you look at the mempool, you can see that a while ago there's tons of transactions going through. So because our transaction didn't have a high transaction fee, it's just getting pushed back. So it will end up going through. It's just going to take a long time. So with that, I'm just going to use this test. So basically what's going to happen is once that transaction confirms, you're going to select the token that you created. And you're going to be able to see the artwork is going to show below. So in this case here, you can see this is robot test. And it has the same image because I used the same image. You can actually see what that NFT is going to be. So at this point, it's ready to go as far as it being populated. If I click on more info, that will open up the XChain and asset and robot test. And again, Arweave's just a little slow. I'm not sure what's happening, but you'll see that it pulls in the description. So robot test, robot love coffee, category art, subcategory NFT, and it shows the image. So down below it has like the Twitter and the path. So from that point of view, from a free wallet, it's all good. The last couple items that I want to go through are around locking the supply and issuing more of a supply for a token. So in this case here, I'm going to click on the robot test. Again, you would do this on any of the tokens that you've created. And you can see that the total supply right now is 1 and it is unlocked. So you have to decide how many tokens you want to issue, and different directories that you go through have limits and specifications around that. And you also want to lock the supply, and what that means is that none no more can be issued. And the reason you would do that is that if it's 1 of 100, you want to make sure that you can't issue any more of those. So to change that on the token, you can right click and you can say issue robot test supply. If I do that, you can see that I can then update this number. So if there's one of them currently, I could put in 99 and do issue supply, and that would then bring the number up to 100. I could put this to any number that I'd want, and it will issue those. Again, there's a small transaction fee that would happen. I'm not going to do that right now, but you would click issue supply. That's going to go to the blockchain. It's going to come back and be confirmed. The other way that you can access these are from the hamburger menu at the top. You can do issue supply. But when you do this, you need to put in the token name, and you need to make sure that you spell the token name correctly. So I find right-clicking is easier to do. But again, the same process. I could say that I want to do 99 to get to 100. The other thing that you'll want to do once you've issued all the supply is you're going to want to lock the supply. And to do that, you're going to right-click. You can do lock robot test supply. And here, basically, again, it's just a transaction fee, and you have to agree that you understand, because you cannot undo this once you've done it. So you'd say that I understand, and then you're going to lock the token supply. What that's going to do is that means that on this blockchain, there can only be that number of this token name. So that's it. The last thing is that when you're here, when you're on robot test, if you click on the more info, that will take you to XChain, which has the listing asset. This is the one where people would look for dispensers, and they'd look for details about that asset if they don't have it in their wallet. So you'll need this when you're going to be submitting it to directories.